I didn't know I was giving it to you.
Hi, and welcome to another family office event. I'm again in Abu Dhabi, and today we're going to take a look behind the scenes of what the families here are thinking.
Here in the GCC region, not just the UAE, it is a very active environment in terms of investments. It's definitely a place to be.
The UAE has a very long tradition of being the home of many family businesses and therefore, as times have progressed, also family offices. But in addition to these local families setting up their investment operations, we've recently experienced a large influx of people who are new to the region and who are allocating their capital globally, but from the UAE. So they make the UAE their home, at least over the winter months. And it's exactly this season right now, which is the most exciting to be here, because thanks to this influx of capital to the capital of capital, there's a fantastic combination here during the winter months of fun events like Formula One and more serious events like the Family Office Summit that we've attended towards the end of last year, or then Finance Week, also in Abu Dhabi. And then now towards the end of January, we are again at a family office conference. This time it's organized by DC Finance. And in this video, we'll go behind the scenes of this extremely exclusive event, and we will answer the questions like, what do family offices invest in these days? What were the topics discussed at the conference? And we're going to look at the topic of the next generation, an inspiring talk of how to be the CEO of your own life, a topic that aligns very well with the theme of this channel.
They are creating this platform where you can come and innovate and start your own business. And not only they support you, they facilitate for you. They go the extra mile in order to help you. So the capital of capital is only to say that this is a capital of money or resources. I go beyond that and say it's a capital of capital of capital, because the people behind the money in the capital are helping any new investor or entrepreneur, to come and they facilitate his life in order to grow to the next level.
So by the selection of topics that were covered at this event, you can already see the trends that are emerging and the questions that the ultra high net worth individuals are asking themselves. So what are the investment trends of today? So it's no surprise that AI was the first talk of the day, with very interesting insights into recruitment bots, support bots, and file recovery systems. We then went on to listen to a very interesting take on how to invest in gold. And that's not by investing into the physical gold, but by investing in a company that does gold royalty investment. This offers all the upside that you think about when investing in gold, but none of the downside, because you don't come across the similar challenges that you have if you want to lock some gold up in your safe back home. Sticking with the commodity theme, we then went on to hear about green steel and how climate tech is actually very important here in this region. They're putting a lot of focus on this. The vision that they have for the country going forward is to become a lot more environmentally friendly. And green steel is obviously very interesting, especially in a market that is so heavily involved in real estate and construction. So that's where the emissions are created. It's not necessarily in the Lamborghinis and the Ferraris chasing up and down. They certainly also come with some emissions, but it's important to focus on these topics where you can have the biggest marginal gains for efforts invested into making things more sustainable.
There are a lot of good opportunities and companies. When they see a company with a new innovation and new technology, I can name you a few, directly they go and invest. People understand that they cannot only invest in the US and in Europe. Asia, India. They were talking about India right now, and even China. They are having an eye. So diversification. So what interest, what catches their eye, or what is their interest? Any company which has a good, ROI.
We also went on to hear something about investing into art. That is something that can be a passion project, but also has a lot of money and it's a big market. So that was interesting to hear. And then a topic that I'm personally very interested in was investing in India. I went on a trip to India, I think it was not last year, but the year before, 2023, and had a fantastic experience. Went to Mumbai, Delhi, and Bangalore. And this is a giant that is just awakening right now. And I think we're going to hear a lot more about it. Here in the UAE, we are a lot closer to India than, for example, Europe or the US. So it's much more on our doorstep to think about what is happening there. Investing in such a prosperous and up-and-coming economy means two things: high returns, possibly, but also high risk. Next, onto the topic of the next generation that was discussed. We went into a very philosophical discussion on this topic, and there are two things that I wanted to share with you that I took away. The first thing is that when you're thinking about a conflict, potential conflict with either the parents' generation or even within the same generation, brothers or cousins among each other, but to keep in mind that everyone is here for the first time. Everyone is living there today for the first time. You're watching this YouTube video for the first time. Maybe you can watch it a second time, but you know what I mean. So that's just important to keep in mind when things get a little heated. So we're all just trying to figure it out as we go. Everyone is. And the second thing that was very interesting to me was a discussion about values, because the question came up that values might be a burden for the next generation, and that the kids might struggle with living up to these values and having these values forced onto them. But here it's really about showing the kids the value in the values. So there is actually a value in having values. And if you can make that clear to the kids, then you make them realize how lucky you are to have these values. So I thought that was very interesting. We also heard a very inspiring talk by James Keys about how to be the CEO of your life. And by CEO, he means change equals opportunity, which I think is a very nice acronym that fits very well with the theme of this channel and looking positively into the future, because the only constant is change. So how to deal with change and how to overcome certain obstacles that inevitably come as you live your life, and how to embrace this change and make it into an opportunity. I thought that was a very inspiring talk. And if you're interested, I will link James Key's book. I think it's absolutely worth a read if this is something that interests you. He's got a very impressive career, working his way up at 7-Eleven, working at Blockbuster, all companies that have undergone extreme change in their time. It's called Education is Freedom.